It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is showtime, the Geno Jones Show. Hey, I'm coming to you live. Now, listen, normally, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. on the East Coast. So up in New York City, Philly, in Beantown, Boston, maybe up in D.C., the nation's capital, the DMV area, or down in Miami, hot Atlanta, Tampa, Orlando, right here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area, 6:30. This is a minute or two after 6:30 right now. Chi-Town, Chicago, 5:30. Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Memphis, Houston, Dallas, New Orleans, Little Rock, Arkansas is the reason I mentioned Arkansas. You'll find out in a few minutes. Live in Los Angeles, 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Now, programming note, no live show on Monday because it's Labor Day. As a matter of fact, this is the official Labor Day holiday weekend jump off on the Geno Jones Show. We don't call it Friday. It's not a Friday. It is a Friday because yay is Friday and the unofficial end of summer. But when you're living in the South, like here in Charleston, South Carolina, really it's summer. The weather's summer till way past Halloween. It's like summer to damn near Thanksgiving. Now, Chicago, this weekend is the end of summer, all right? Because Tuesday, it might snow. Okay, well, that's a little exaggeration, a little joke, a little funny, but yes, summer is when, come Labor Day weekend, as a matter of fact, when I was a kid, I'd be in tears, I'd be depressed, like, summer's over, oh my God. So I digress. Tell everybody you know, subscribe, share, screen grab, rip some of this video, chop it up, either screen grab it or rip it, whatever term you use. Make it go viral on any and all your social media platforms. Subscribe, share, screen grab, like, leave your comments in the comment section. Binge watch all my back episodes. And if you're watching me live right now, please, 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 either start the conversation or jump in the conversation in my chat room when you're watching me live. You can have a conversation. You can ask a question. You want to go ahead and have a debate, feel free to come for me. But if you come for me and I didn't send for you, I'm going to send your ass back where you came from. And I'm going to do it with a smile. Listen, I don't want to waste any time because it is a Labor Day holiday weekend. And these people were gracious enough to join me on this Labor Day holiday weekend. But I know that they in the car, they want to kick things off, get the party started, get the cookout started, the barbecue, whatever they got going on. My number one guest co-host, yes, I don't care what's to do. Regis had Kathy Lee. So many folks got Desi Arnaz had Lucy. James had Florida. But I got Kelia Karson, damn it. Kelia Karson, my number one guest co-host. And special guest, I had a chance to finally meet this brother at the Democratic Convention. So we're going to chop that up real quick. He is literally, like for real, a rocket scientist. Because, you know, people throw that, oh, he a rocket. No, this brother, he got the receipts. Like for real, rocket scientist who worked at NASA, an author, just a beautiful spirit, ran for governor of Arkansas and should have won. Y'all didn't turn out, and y'all blew it, and y'all got this lame-ass Sarah, she sucks, Huckabee, Sanders, whatever. I'm not even, MAGA, Lil MAGA, one of them. His name, put some respect on it, Dr. Chris Jones, but I call him Cuz. There's a story behind that. There you go on camera. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Kelia Karson, who in about, unmute your mic, doctor. So in about a year, what's the process, Dr. Tyson, Dr. Carson?
Yeah, actually 2 years, but I hope it feels like 1 month.
Well, listen, you know what? It's fate would have it. God don't make no mistakes. Our guest, Key, with us today. He's like Doctor for real, a rocket
My
scientist.
inspiration. I need
Yes.
Oh,
all
come
of the
on now.
inspiration I can get. And listen, I just looked at a statistic that said there were about 9% Black women with their
Yes.
master's degrees. So I'm like in that pool already. I have to look up to see how many with doctorate degrees, but I mean, we are really in a small bucket, and I'd like to see more of us in that bucket. Therefore, that's why I jumped in and said, this is the time to do it.
Come
So
on now.
let's just do it.
Get it, get it, get it.
Yeah,
In fact, let me
thank
lead.
you.
Let, let,
Thank you,
let me
Dr.
lead
Jones.
with a piece of advice I got
Okay.
in my process. Uh, don't push to get to perfect. Push to get it done.
Okay. And you know what, Dr. Jones, that is part and parcel my problem, because I
Yep.
am 3.9, 3.8. I'm always summa cum laude, and I just need to graduate
Hey,
good laude and
get it
be done.
done. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Whether it's perfect and it takes you 20 years, or whether it's 80% there and it takes you 3 years, they still gonna call you doctor.
Amen.
Done.
Amen.
What a way to start the show off. So, okay. By the way, Key, Dr. Jones' family, his cuz.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
let me
tell me the story.
So quick story. So we finally meet at the Democratic National Convention. So, and I'm gonna let Dr. Jones talk about just the whole vibe. It was real because you asked me. You was like, Geno, on TV, the energy look. I said it was a total vibe. But we got a chance to meet, and I knew he ran to be governor of Arkansas. My maternal grandmother is Key. You know this because you family. She's born in a little city in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. I believe that's near Little Rock, and then I think she went to Little Rock, and then she wound up in Memphis with my grandfather. So I mentioned that. I said, Joe, I said, we might be related. I said, because my maternal grandmother's from Arkansas. And then Dr. Jones, and I told him, he asked me about, what about on your maternal grandfather's side? And I told him, I said, actually, he was born in a little small town, I believe, northwest of Jackson, Yazoo City, Mississippi. Then Dr. Jones said, well, hold on, it might not be on the maternal grandmother's side, it might be on the grandfather's side. And Dr. Jones, you can explain that.
Look, because first of all, it's great to be here. Great to have time. I'm a commit now to coming back because I forgot that the fall festival is at my daughter's school this week today. So when I finish, I'm gonna go dash to get her. Or she gonna kill me. So look, let me tell you. When you said that, I jumped because my father's grandfather they had a home and land in Mississippi, and this was back in the early 1900s. And the Klan found out that there was oil under their land, so they had to pack up their family in the middle of the night and cross the river over to Arkansas. That's how my family got to Arkansas.
Wow.
And my dad actually still owns some small pieces of land.
I was going to ask that.
Small piece, because that's a whole other conversation about heirs properties and land acquisition or theft.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Listen, Dr. Jones, I'm gonna let you run, but if you give me 60 seconds for the viewers and for Key, if you could describe it in a phrase in 60 seconds, just the whole energy and everything that came out of the convention and what you see going forward with Vice President Harris, what would you say?
I'm trying to do it in 60 seconds, right? But it's hard. But what I will say is those who were able to see the eclipse and totality, right? It's one thing to see a partial eclipse. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. But there's a difference between a partial eclipse and totality. It's everything that end up. Totality is when it's a fundamentally different thing. I think viewing the convention convention on TV was magic. It was amazing. It's like a partial eclipse. Being there in the room was like a total eclipse. There is nothing like it. And I talked to folks who have been to the convention since the 70s, and they said this was hands down the best convention that they've ever been to. And oh, by the way, it was a convention to put a black woman as the president of the United States, and it was a convention run by a black woman. So let me tell you, black women know how to do it.
On that, I'm going to make sure that the black woman in his life, his queen, his wife, is not mad at him because of me. So listen, Dr. Jones.
I promise I'm coming back. I promise I'm coming back, man.
Yes, have a great Labor Day, cuz we'll talk. I'll reach out to you early next week, and we'll definitely, because I'd love to have you come back on a regular basis because you got so much to contribute.
Let's do it.
Especially with this campaign, the fact that you ran for governor, because I definitely see the governor's seat is one thing, but I see a U.S. Senate seat in your future.
Watch out now. Look, we can come back and talk about all that. I want to tell you what's going on in Arkansas. I feel the love. I feel the vibe here. So look, consider me a family friend because we are family. And trust me, I'm coming back.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. We love you, man. We'll let you tap
out.
out. Say hello to your queen. Enjoy your family, cuz. We'll talk soon.
All right, much love. See you, kids. Dr. Karson.
Bye, Dr. Jones.
So Key was so cool when I met him. And that's just the vibe that you picked up. That was him. It was just really like we had known each other forever. But no, he is. So he went to MIT. He's got astrophysicist, but he worked on rockets at NASA, like for real, for real.
So, that's, I mean, I'm kind of geeky anyway, despite how cool I may seem on the Geno Jones show. I'm kind of geeky, cool. And I like to watch Dr. Tyson, who is all into, you see him, he's black. I don't know if you ever seen him online, but he does a lot of talk about space and what that is.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's mainly quantum physics.
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about, Key. Yeah.
Okay, and then I just watched for the first time the Neil Armstrong story just a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, I'm kind of interested, even though I'm not smart enough math-wise or science-wise or all that to do it. It's very much interesting to me.
Well, since you mentioned like the Apollo missions, one of the women who was one of the stories about Hidden Figures, Katherine Johnson, whose math calculations
that's right
allowed them to have like safe flights. Re-entering is really what her particular skill helped them do, because they were able to get there, but they couldn't figure out how to pinpoint re-entry, which is a complicated process, by the way. Well, Catherine, so the sister Catherine, she had the solution to the math problem, and nobody else had the solution. She came up with it.
Right. So much so that she ended up with NASA helping them for years to come. I mean, we saw just a little minor clip of her experience with them, but she spent her life there.
Yes, it was her and a small group of black women. But I mentioned her name because she had a happy heavenly birthday. Her birthday, I believe, was on Wednesday.
Glad you mentioned that. Yeah, that's awesome. See, we honor our ancestors.
Yes, we do. So, all right, Keith, let me tee you up here.
Tee me up.
If I let you run.
Is that golf? Tee me up.
Yes. Or they had like T-ball for the little kids where they put a baseball on a tee so they can hit it. There's this viral video. First of all, shout out to Vice President and soon-to-be President-elect speaking into existence, name it and claim it, Kamala Harris, and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz. They did finally this sit-down
interview with Dana Bash.
Now, let me just say this, okay? Because I'm sure people watching this over the holiday, and let me just say this, y'all. The only people that really give a damn about her doing something, sit down interview with the media, is the media. All right. And you got some people. Well, you got to sit there. You got to talk to talk to black people specifically. And you've got that crowd. Just shut. Like I said, y'all shut up. Just shut up. Even I know some of you all get paid to talk. Sometimes some of y'all just like to hear yourself talk. But the truth is, the general public, they're not tripping like that. This woman, the vice president, soon to be president-elect Key, do you understand that she has been in this position? She hasn't even been in this position a good, not even 45 days, barely over a month.
Right.
40 days ago, 40 days ago, nobody saw this happening.
No. And in that time, matter of fact, let's get the timeline correct. Within one day, she managed to pull together all of the delegates in order to get her, without any argument, the nomination at the convention. They broke no rules, because there are no rules except for the rules that the DNC or the RNC come together to agree upon. So there were no rules to be broken. And they did that within one day. And then before the week was over, I mean, she was into close to 20-something million or more dollars within a few days.
Well, so the Sunday night, so Joe Biden makes a statement, releases a letter on social media, like around 1:30. He's not going to run. Less than 30 minutes later, he said he's endorsing his vice president, Kamala Harris. Right. So that night, because Kelia, you've been a part of the conversation, we talked about it on this show. Black women, they have been having this like, I guess you could say, Zoom meeting call. Yeah. Y'all raised like $1.5 million that night.
That night.
Then the next night, the brother said, in my case, I don't have a hold. Well, the ones that drink beer said, hold my beer. I said, hold my Perrier. They raised about $1.5 million. And so in the month of, now keep in mind, Key, today is July 30th. This was like early, I think I want to say around July 8th. So it hadn't been a month yet, Keela. She's raised over $500 million.
Yeah. Amen.
Last count was like 540 million. Yep. So she's probably somewhere easily approaching $600 million.
Yeah.
In like 3 weeks.
And listen, I wasn't on the black men for Kamala Harris call. I did the black women, and we both did the white women.
Yeah, I jumped on the one for the brothers. Yeah, I jumped when I could get in, because it took me about an hour to get in.
Me too. And we both did the white women for Kamala Harris.
We were like spies, y'all. We was just sitting there.
We like, look.
Yep. Mute.
I'm not black. I mean, I'm not white, but I'm just gonna be here. But they raised a ton of money.
Oh yeah. I think they raised that night about, do I want to say 8 million? Some crazy number. Yeah. They did the thing. They did.
So when you talk about pressuring her to get ready for interviews and talk to the press, she had to first pick a running mate, which is a very difficult process. In most cases, it takes months for them to slide, because then you have to vet them. And the vetting process, if you don't understand vetting, I would like for you to watch the movie Game Change.
Okay.
Game Change is about Sarah Palin and why vetting is so very important. And it's the story told from Steve Schmidt, who was John McCain's
he ran the campaign manager.
Right. And so I mean, they were Republicans, but John McCain has always been more to the
They were
left
not
of
MAGA. They were anti-MAGA.
right.
Yes.
John Kane was not close to MAGA. He wasn't even close to the normal Republican. He was considered to be just a little more left
Right.
than most.
His
But
brand was a maverick because he
right.
would buck his own party.
As a matter of fact, he was going to have Lieberman, Joe Lieberman,
Be
as his
running mate.
run.
Yep.
And he is a staunch Democrat,
Yep.
Jewish staunch Democrat. So, but the movie is about the process of picking a running mate and how difficult it is. So, to my point, and to your point, I wanted to say to pick a running mate in 2-3 weeks.
Right.
Come on.
And I will say, Key, hold my Perrier water.
Oh.
Perrier. Yeah, we need to talk Perrier. Because you can't have a better pitch man than me. I'm just saying.
Hey, bring the money.
But Key, I'll say hold my Perrier just to emphasize or to reinforce your point. Yeah. I will go no further than Exhibit A, the MAGA cult leader's nightmare of a disaster.
J.D. Vance,
who was picked by, I guess, Orange Hitler's son, Don Jr.
His son,
John David J.D. Vance, who Vance is not his real son. This is like his third surname. So that should tell you something. So he like changed his name like 3 times.
You know, and let me say this. Because Geno and I can talk about other people than Democrats. We can, because we read and we watch and so when you watch the Geno Jones show, you are getting a comprehensive group of people. J.D. Vance, if you don't know him, he is from rural Kentucky is where he actually is from, I believe, or Tennessee, one of the two. Appalachia, basically. And Appalachia, it stretches. But then he was raised in Ohio.
Right. I was going to say, hold on. Here's the breaking news. He was actually, they said, raised not like in the heart of Appalachia, but near.
Okay. Well,
his mother
was raised
in Appalachia. And then,
was it Jackson, Tennessee? Where was it?
Yeah, I think it was, I do want to say.
I know it was Jackson, but I don't know if it was.
Or maybe Kentucky, but one of those.
One of the two.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you don't understand the term hillbilly and what that really means in terms of lifestyle, let me tell you, poor Black people don't have nothing on what that is. We're just a little bit more with it, and that's a whole kind of different poor, okay? But his mother was smart. She went to nursing school, but she became a drug addict, and all of these things. His grandmother had to raise him, but the grandmama and the grandpa were crazy too. They lived down the street from each other. Because the mama couldn't stand the daddy's drinking, but they still were married. So Paul just moved down. Papa is what he called him. Moved down the street. This is a complicated family structure, and so what you get out of that is a book that he called Hillbilly Elegy. Elegy is like a poem or a dedication to somebody. So it's like a hillbilly poem or hillbilly dedication to his grandmother.
Like a tribute, yes.
A tribute, right. So it was a tribute to his grandmother, Mama is what he called her. But I bring this up to say what J.D. Vance initially was when he wrote that book was trying to say hillbillies are poor folks that need help, and we've got to do something different for these people. He also said that, believe it or not, hillbilly, if you look at culture, they are more culturally connected to Black people. And he said, and for that reason, I understand the way Black people were raised. So this is where he starts.
And he also, we have to point this out, referred to the man we refer to on this show affectionately as Orange Hitler, Donald Trump, his own words, Google it, J.D. Vance said around that time that Donald Trump was, quote, America's Hitler, unquote.
Right. So and that's where I was going with this. That J.D. Vance did not start where it ended. You know how we say this is how it's going versus, how it is versus how it was and how it's looking. This is not where he started. He started as just a man, and he married an Indian woman that he met in Yale when he went to college. He ended up going to the Marines, by the way, and then from the Marines he went to Yale.
And we say Indian woman, not an indigenous
no
native
Asian,
person
like
from
Kamala.
Southeast Asia. Yes, like Kamala.
Like
Southeast
Kamala.
Asia.
Okay, so he meets his wife at Yale. He had to scrape to get the money to go. Had to work. Mama is on drugs at the time. They got to get her off of drugs into rehab. All of this is why he writes the book. And he thanks his grandmother for saving him. He says systems have got to change in order to help people who are in these. See, his point was at that time, yes, his mama went to nursing school, but she never learned how to live a life that we consider to be free of drugs, free of men abusing her. She didn't know how to break the cycle. Like so many of us, we come up, but we still don't know how to break the cycle of the past and the pain. And so he was really on a mission to say we've got to in addition to saying we got to go to school, we got to learn life skills to help us stop doing the things that our parents did or our grandparents did. So that's where J.D. Vance starts. But somewhere along the way, he starts hating Trump and not understanding what this is because he knows that this man is not helpful to people like his hillbilly family, right? And Geno and I talk about this a lot. How a lot of MAGA people act in their own disinterest.
Yep, and vote against your own interests.
Yes.
Financially, when it comes to your own health, public health, you wouldn't have insurance if it wasn't for Obamacare.
Exactly. So he was on the side of let's help people who are in generational, because we talk about generational wealth, these generational issues that bring us down. And then he started, as people do when they are seekers, because he was a seeker. Let me go and find the answer to life, and I gotta go to this guru. And when you are a seeker, sometimes you fall prey to ideologies that jack you up. And that's what he did. He ended up reading. He became a Catholic, which is not a problem, by the way. But he became a Catholic, but then got indoctrinated into the extreme version. Because, all religious sects may have some extreme version of itself. And so he became a Catholic on steroids, let's say, and started reading other doctrines. And that's how he gets to where he is today.
So who really got him, Key, who took him to the next level on steroids, I
know where you're going. I know.
To Google a guy named Peter Thiel.
Yes.
Who's a billionaire out in Silicon Valley.
Yep.
Who is like MAGA, QAnon, nutty as a fruitcake, batshit crazy.
And a lot of tech people, by the way, follow him. Keep going.
So basically, Peter Thiel kind of handpicks J.D. Vance to kind of to be the face and avatar for this whole ideology, which is racism, misogyny, sexism, homophobia, and basically this kind of narrow-minded vision of white, straight Christian men being the dominant force, being in control, basically, kind of like how America started. So, but Peter Thiel was, because he kind of bounced around, tried to I think venture capital. I think for a minute he was doing something on Wall Street, and he sucked at it. But Peter Thiel kind of came along and just, I got you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
took him to the dark, took him all the way to the dark side and passed it down through the black hole and everything.
Yeah. And listen, JD Vance says unequivocally that I am not racist. My wife is. This is what he says. I don't. Okay. But the problem people have with him is that it appears that you have sold your soul. If you had just said, nah, that's too far for me. Now, I do believe that maybe we can do, more people need to follow Christian values and blah, 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 blah. But when you start talking about you can't have birth control, you can't have IVF, everybody needs to be in church, and the myriad of other crazy things that come out of his mouth, because there's a lot of crazy coming out.
A lot of misogyny and sexism.
Yes, and now you've gone, a bridge too far. I think JD Vance is, but I want to go to a main point here for me saying all of this. The Obama said, we have got to understand, we call them basement dwellers, is what they call a lot of Trumpsters, right? Because you imagine they're in the basement with the video game, drinking beer,
and a lot of bars,
right, and a lot of internet and
coming up, Fox News, Newsmax,
right, conspiracy theories and all of that stuff, right? But the Obamas said it so eloquently, both of them, that listen, we have got to start trying to understand where people come from. Not saying you got to agree with them or buy into their crap, but we do need to understand, and that is why I rewatched Hillbilly Elegy, because I said, you know what, Keela, we gotta, because it's gonna be bad for all of us if we don't start understanding, because these people are ready for civil war.
Oh, they want it. Oh, and by the way, let's just say this, Key, because you started off talking about, he wrote this book, Hillbilly Elegy, that turned it into a screenplay and a movie.
You can see it on Netflix.
Yes.
If you want to watch it on it's on Netflix. Yeah. And now the book is a little more comprehensive. The book is there. I'm not trying to raise any money for JD Vance, but listen, and information is information. And I think we need to be armed with the information, because that gentleman is broken.
Yeah.
He is broken. Trump, I think, is a neurodivergent individual, meaning I think that there is something that just doesn't rise to the top in his brain.
Yeah, there's a level of narcissism that I'm sure, PhDs in psychology are saying, well, damn, we got to come up with a new term for this level of narcissism.
The best I can do is neurodivergent, but that's a broad term, and that's like, even when you think about neurodivergent, think about a person who may have had a stroke. I had one, and how your brain might be different. You can't talk, or you can't, or look at a person who's on the spectrum. With autism is what most people know it as, but as a professional, people say on the spectrum. But so things that are just mentally, your cognitive way of handling things is a little off or different, or just disconnected with what we consider to be the norm. Okay, I don't want to say normal, but the norm, right? And I think something is there with Trump, because something's wrong.
Yeah,
something's wrong in there.
So, and now remember, this is soon to be Dr. Carson here. Now, I'm going to kind of break it down
In
in a
in a
little less.
Negro,
Yes.
in a Negro way.
I will go from the doctoral dissertation to basically kind of explain it to you the way I would in the barbershop or the beauty salon. He is batshit crazy.
That works too.
That's just really, there you go. Right. Nutty.
That works too.
My grandmother's an arrogant, narcissistic, nutty as a fruitcake. Misogynist, sexist, racist. But we didn't mean to go all the way around it, but I want to bring it back to how J.D. Vance's name came up, because we're talking about Mr. Orange Hitler, who there is a viral video of black women saying I am not with her. Black women for Donald Trump. Kelia Karson, I give you the floor.
No, sir. Listen. If you can see my foot tapping up under.
I've seen that. I know. I've seen
my
mother do that many times. But when you see, so I'm gonna just explain it. Listen, I'm just gonna explain it to you from the outside. Kelia is a black woman. She will give you the intricacy, the emotions, what's going on the inside. But if you were on the outside as a kid, when you saw your mama, you saw her tapping that foot, you got really, really nervous.
You got real trouble.
Some ish was about to pop off, and you was probably about to get your
Exactly, and you were going to be the benefactor of the ish. Baby, okay, I'm tapping my foot and pounding my hand because I cannot stand the way people who don't know our people, black people, people of color, think that they can manipulate us with dumb. Now, I'm not saying that we cannot be fooled. I mean, listen, we paying $500 for Nike gym shoes. We got our problems. we get sucked in too sometimes, and that's all right. Because women, and by the way, women paying for purses for $9,000. I get it. We get duped sometimes.
Birkin bags and all that.
Come on. I can't even say Birkin, let alone
bottoms.
Yeah, I can't. But we get sucked into the game. Okay, it's all right. Where you can't suck us in is this stuff. You'll get us on a Birkin, but you ain't gonna get us on two fools standing up there talking about I'm not with her. Let me tell you, short of Kamala Harris, Donald Trump said he can come out in the middle of the street and shoot somebody and everything will be good. Let me tell you, Kamala Harris is going to get the vote of the black women, and they ain't going to pay any attention to what these two fools, and I'll call them coons because they're getting on my nerves. These two coons are saying. He tried it with those other ones. What's the Diamond and what's the other
Diamond
ones?
and Silk. Well, Key, it's funny in the video. So I didn't get a chance to send you the link, but in the commercial, because he's got like, I'm Donald J. Trump and I approve this message. It was about 4 or 5, maybe 5 or 6 different black women. Even one who she said she was an immigrant from Africa.
Right. Well, we were talking about
voting for Donald Trump.
We were talking about her and another one, so I apologize. I said two, but listen, you cannot manipulate our minds with that. That's base level bull. We're not going for that. We look at those people and look at them as if they were lost. That's the only reaction you're going to get from us, or please, be please, or bish, whatever. Come on now.
So
we're not going for that. We cannot be fooled by that foolery.
So Kia, are you saying they may have a better chance? It may have a better chance with the Coach purse or the Christian Louboutin red bottoms, but not with that.
Not with that. Not with that. And what I'm really saying is, if you want to sway our vote or way of thinking, what you're going to have to do is bring an intelligent black woman to the table and sit down and argue the goodness of you. But the problem is there is no intelligent woman that could identify the goodness in Donald Trump. So that's the problem. You can't find any intelligent people to do this. Now, when you find like a pundit or like a Shermichael from CNN, or I'm trying to think of some of the political pundits that are Black on the Republican side, even they can't quite, they have to say something.
Right. And
Okay.
Keep in mind, like Shermichael Singleton, no shade to him, but
Right.
they're getting a check. And their role on that TV show is to, well, just kind of give us this perspective and don't be batshit crazy, but can you get
And listen, and you're not going to get Shermichael to get up there cooning either, because he'll call it out and say.
To his credit, yes, right. Now, what you see on Fox News or Newsmax or News Nation, now that's Pastor Daryl Scott and that whole ilk, and the
what's the
pastor
other
that's
one?
up there in Detroit, Kelia, had the church and say he didn't know. I didn't know that, even though none of your congregation could get seats in there. But I digress.
And what's that? The woman that
Candace Owens.
Oh, that one. So yeah, and again, I think she's broken. Something happened in her life, and she's not being honest.
She filed a lawsuit she went to an Ivy League school and had an incident, filed like a discrimination lawsuit. Dealt with racism, and then all of a sudden
I don't know her story. I would have to dig deeper into it. If I was to dig deeper into it, I could find it. But I don't know her, and I don't know her story. But Candace, and then what was the actress? Stacey
Dash, and now Miss Amber Rose.
And look,
who now it's funny, they tried to, let me say this, so they tried to hit Trump. They go to show you, when Trump accuses a person of something, he is projecting, he is telling you what he does or his supporters. Because he tried to say, well, I didn't know Kamala Harris. I never heard her say she was Black, which is bullshit, because she always identified as being a Black woman. Her mama raised her and her sister. They were in Oakland, California. They were right around the Civil Rights Movement, the Black Panthers. When all that jumped off, I digress. But
all of her friends are Black.
Yes.
She went to HBCU, Black sorority. Shut up, Trump. But see, you can put that on the foolish who don't read and don't pay attention.
But what I was saying, Key, to finish up real quick, toss it back to you, talking about Amber Rose. So at the Republican National Convention, which even Republicans are saying after seeing the Democratic National Convention, they were like, y'all should just don't have a convention. Y'all just don't need no cameras. Just sit in the room and do what y'all gonna do. But just don't even bother. But Amber Rose got up there saying that she's not Black. Now, when she had Wiz Khalifa's baby, and when she was screwing around with Kanye before he got really nutty as a fruitcake, and she was always a part of Black culture as a, biracial. Her dad is white or whatever, but her mama's Black. But now, all of a sudden, you not Black, but Black culture even put your ass on the map.
Well, to be fair to her, for a couple of years, she's been on that, I'm not Black, I am biracial, or and listen, in all fairness, I get that. I mean, when you have a mother who is Asian, like Kamala Harris, and a dad who is Black, you want to honor both your parents. I get that. However, you also have to have an awareness that once daddy Blackness or mama Blackness, and in the case of Kamala, as her mother being Asian, she just black. I mean, she honestly, because they're people of color too.
Kamala's mama was darker than her.
And she is a person of color. Okay, so I get when you're trying to identify with both parents, but you also have to have the awareness and not be ignorant sounding, coming out in the daylight saying that you're not Black, because that is how you're viewed. And I understand that you can have a self, like, how I view myself is this way, but you got to be aware how the world views you so that you can move around. And I'm not saying you can't fight to change it, but doggone it, don't stand up like it's not real.
Key, she wasn't doing. Let me just say this. I'm gonna be 1,000. Listen, that
Amber
heifer.
was making her some money.
And I ain't knocking her hustle as a entertainer or stripper.
Yeah,
Not
she was
do
making
you,
her money.
boo. But you know when you was doing all that, and like I said, you was having Wiz Khalifa's rapper, Google rapper Wiz Khalifa and Kanye, and you was running. You were a part immersed in Black culture. You weren't saying that, oh, I'm not Black or biracial. None of that. All that conversation, Key, is a grift. It's a hustle to get a check. And like you said, we can see that. When you talk about Black women, y'all can see, just like those Black women for Trump. When I told you about it, you was like, and then you think you can suck us in? All right, if that's your hustle, be honest about it. Say, look, I'm getting a check, y'all. We will respect you more, even though if we didn't agree with the ideology and we say you sold out, but at least you were honest enough to say, I'm getting a check.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, if you do the homework, and I'm going out on a limb. If you do the homework as a person of color, there is no way on the God's green earth that you could support that man. If you do your homework, if you're Black, okay, I'm gonna stretch it out. If you're Black, if you're poor white, Mexican.
What do you say, rapists and killers when he came down the escalator in 2016?
That's right. Okay? If you are anything other than a European Caucasian male,
straight white male. With
not
money. Not even a poor white man.
Right, with money. Because everybody else, white women, everybody, if you do your homework, there is no way possible. Because he has come up with a policy or said something or done something to offend every group we just mentioned.
The military, Key.
The military.
Losers and suckers. He goes to Arlington National Cemetery, one of the most hallowed grounds where all of our fallen heroes, and you stand there with you taking a picture. Now, maybe the mother invited him, but how are you, even if the mother invited you, why are you are standing at somebody's grave? Why the hell are you? I had to catch myself because I really wanted to, even I didn't have to, but why in that blank, why in the F, why the hell are you standing in front of the grave of a fallen soldier with his mother with your thumbs up smiling?
Because he's a PR man. He's a snake oil salesman. He is, you know, a PR guru.
Hustler, grifter,
con artist, all of that. There are very specific rules that you have to follow when you are going into Arlington, because it is considered sacred ground for fallen soldiers, and people who have served. So when you go in there, they're very clear about what you can and cannot do. And taking pictures and posing is definitely on the
Any kind of campaign, no recording picture, photos. And listen, you can go online and read the rules, guys.
Right.
The rules when you go to Arlington National Cemetery, nothing associated with any kind of campaigning.
No, it's just
it's federal law, Key. It's federal law.
Yeah, but Trump doesn't pay any attention to the law. And listen, if none of what we are saying tonight is resonating with you, chew on this. Donald Trump said a few weeks ago Just vote for me this one last time, and you don't ever have to worry about voting again.
Well, wait a minute. It's worse because he's been saying in a lot of his rallies, don't even worry about voting. Just go to the polls and watch people. Google it, you all. Don't take my word for it. You can
Okay,
Google
well, I
it.
don't know how that's going to help him.
Several
but
of
listen,
the campaign stops. If you haven't seen the video, you can Google Donald Trump says you don't have to vote.
Okay, so here's the thing. What Geno is really talking about is that Trump has in place the what do they call them, Geno? The people who
Poll watchers.
The ones who don't believe that believe he won the race.
Just the whole conspiracy. The election deniers.
Thank you. The election deniers. He has them in several key areas and positions. So pay attention. So the reason why he's saying don't worry about
state government, mind you, keep like in positions, working in offices that determine whether or not their state's votes are certified.
Exactly. And so when he's saying don't worry about it, he's so arrogant that he can't even hide the okie doke that they're trying to plan to plot because he's a narcissist. So he can't even be quiet about it. He's trying to let you know, don't worry about it, because we're getting ready to bake this cake and fake this situation, right? But America is not dumb. And already, like Big Gretch, our Governor Gretchen Whitmer here in Michigan, people are all governors and even people who are Republican are saying, okay, because it can't happen the way these people think it's going to happen. Okay? There's a process, and we're going to obey the process, or they're going to be, as he said in Life, Eddie Murphy, they're going to be consequences and repercussions.
Yes.
Okay? So I don't want anybody out there thinking that Donald Trump is getting ready to okey doke on this election because he's going to get knocked back about 40 feet off his feet because we ain't playing that here. We've been black too long. We've been under slavery, the foot on our neck, as former Supreme Court justice used to say, with having people's foot on our neck. We ain't doing that no more. You cannot come in and steal the election. And by the way, the other election in 2020 was not stolen. That was a fair election that he went on a campaign for because his followers just believe everything he says. And his theory is if you repeat something over and over again, people will believe you. So he repeated it over and over again so that people would believe. And then that's how you get to the insurrection. So he's just a shit starter. Okay. But we're not having that. When Kamala Harris wins this election, we're going to protect her as if we had the hands of God on us. And that joker is going to be kicked back to wherever he lived, Mar-a-Lago or wherever, with the rest of his crazies. And that's the end of my...
The Geno Jones Show featuring Kelia Karson, who's just dropped the mic. Kelia Karson, have a great Labor Day holiday weekend, and we will talk to you. We'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody, for watching. God bless each and every one of you, and especially you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. on the East Coast, 5:30 Chicago, 3:30 p.m. live in Los Angeles. No, speaking of live, no live show Monday because it's Labor Day. However, the Geno Jones Show is always available because we record it live, so it is always available 24/7, 365. This year's a leap year, so technically 366 and a half days, but that half day was like February 29th, so we're past that. So go and subscribe and tell everybody at your Labor Day parties and barbecues and cookouts, family reunions, to subscribe to the channel. Chop up some of this monologue, make it go viral. chop it up in 60 seconds or 2 minutes or 30 seconds or 5 minutes or watch the whole damn show. Shout out to Chris Jones, Dr. Chris Jones, rocket sciences, MIT grad, this brilliant brother, ran to be governor of Arkansas. He was one of the Arkansas delegates. He had to run because he was literally going to pick up his daughter, but he thought enough of me and us in the show to jump on for the little time that he had. So thank you for watching, everybody. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram, Kelby Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the show. Check out her Lexi Jones collection, along with Bruce Gage, also stylist for the show, wardrobe consultant. Lexi Jones's collection, it's LX on Instagram. Check her and her collection out. Fashion design, future superstar, LX.NCL_. You see something you want her to customize, do it like a couture line, make you a custom outfit. Reach out to her, LX, like extra, .N like Nancy, CL_, LX.NCL_. And just do a search on Instagram, on IG, Bruce Gage, Mario Uomo. Uomo's an Italian name, so it's Mario, M-A-R-I-O. U like umbrella, O like Oprah, M like Mary, O like Oprah, but it's pronounced Uomo. Have a great weekend. The next live show, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Be safe. Drink, party, whatever you're doing, do it responsibly. Have a safe travel, and make it a Geno Jones Show binge watch weekend. Binge watch all the shows, okay? We got a big anniversary. October, the 4th year anniversary. The month of October marks the 4-year anniversary doing the Geno Jones Show live 5 nights a week. We'll see you live Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.